Tyler Prize is a wonderful institution that recognizes the contribution that individuals have made to improving the environment. It's a tapestry, it's a myriad, it is a whole collection of disciplines, of people, of fields that make up a study of our environment.
It meant a lot to me. It was nice to have somebody looking over my shoulder and saying the work was good. That was great.
I was totally stunned, and I just couldn't believe that something this prestigious was being given in recognition of me and my work.
You just sit there with this giant grin on and say, wow, I'm here.
And people know that you are a Tyler Laureate. And that just makes it a little easier to start the next difficult conversation.
The end of the 1960s and the 1970s was the big movement and an awareness and awakening of the environmental situation. Mostly focused around obvious problems of pollution. Air pollution, water pollution at the time was something that the public could see and began to become aware of.
John Tyler was one of the founders of Farmers Insurance Company. Moved from the Midwest to Southern California. Now, I never met John Tyler, but I had numerous conversations with Alice Tyler. And the Tylers were very aware of environmental deterioration and endowed this prize to help to bring greater awareness and to look for means to alleviate that deterioration.
The very first Tyler Prize award ceremony was actually presented then by Governor Ronald Reagan. So there was apparently some interest in California at the level of the governorship in terms of the environmental problems of the time.
Alice Tyler was the moving force for this prize. During the time when she was alive, she was very much part of everything that we did. So we were always blown away by the movie stars coming into the room, whether it was Lloyd Bridges, Art Linklater, Jimmy Stewart, Betty White, or many others.
So they became interested in what we were doing. They were friends of Alice, but they also had a personal interest in various aspects of environmental quality.
So at that time, there were many prizes, but this was one of the first prizes to be given in the area of the environment. The Tyler Prize not only brought attention to environmental deterioration, but it stimulated scientists to do environmental research to show the causes, but also means to alleviate the problem. I think that over the years, we've become broader. The original prize was for environmental deterioration. We were thinking of rivers, lakes, and the air. Slowly, it became more global. We began to think outside the United States. The committee became more aware that extinctions were occurring, biodiversity was getting threatened, and that habitats were disappearing. And we needed to give prizes to individuals who were working in these areas. So when we're thinking about conservation, we then begin to think about resource management. You naturally are led into energy, food, and water.
Climate and energy is a big combined field because you have many aspects coming in at this that ties work from the very early years of the Tyler Prize up to today.
And the issue of climate change now becomes a global issue. We see the Tyler Prize over the last few years becoming aware of environmental health and asking the question, who are the key players in keeping environmental health on the forefront of science and policy.
When I got the telephone call about the prize, I was sitting at my desk at home, and right there is John Seinfeld's great big book, you know, the classic textbook on air pollution. So, you know, that was just an honor by itself to be in the same people's thought as John Seinfeld.
Well, past Tyler Laureates really are in many ways responsible for my entire career. My particular interest in plant-insect interactions was inspired by a paper written by two laureates, Paul Ehrlich and Peter Raven, and of course Edward O. Wilson. So they're all people who have just had profound influence on how I view the world.
So to be given a prize in the tradition of G. Evelyn Hutchinson, Rene Dubose, Charles Elton, meant a lot to me. And I have to say I admire people who have gotten the prize after me as well.
It just says that collectively what you've done up to that point has been really important, and it actually gives you an assist in being able to do more once you've been so recognized.
The future is difficult to predict, of course, but we know one thing is inevitable. The world population will continue to grow.
The same sorts of environmental challenges that were faced in the 70s, we have not solved these problems. I mean, we have some solutions, but then again, as technology advances, we create new problems and new challenges.
Everybody has his or her standard list: air, water, climate change. One very major environmental challenge that is not getting any attention at all, and that is the environmental challenges of increasing urbanization.
The issue is how to take these things on at the scale and urgency they deserve. We have to redefine what we consider the quality of life. And you can't have quality of life without a healthy environment.
I think the value of the Tyler Prize is to remind us that the environmental issues aren't just about political debate. They're not about ideology. The environmental issues really trace down to very basic scientific processes. We need people who will help us to understand them and spend their life long doing this. So it's a very good thing to recognize these people. It's a good thing to say thank you for what you've done, but it's also a good thing to give us something to listen to so that we can maybe start to make our own world a little better.